So, Mark, what's today's topic?
All right, boys and girls, we are going deep today. We did a little bit off camera already, some of our research. And today's topic is gonna be stable diffusion's hotter cousin, distable diffusion.
So basically what it is, it's basically the non-safe for work, or also called AI porn. So, Mark, this topic is right now on fire.
Sorry, it's called unstable diffusion. Oh my god.
Well, it's unstable in diffusion, but I mean, let's go into detail, Mark. And actually, I mean, why do we actually talk about this topic? I think it's very, very important to talk about this, because in the end, it's like, all right, why is this important? What is the impact? And yeah, where's it going to be in the next 2 years, something like this. I think that's really, really important to talk about this in this podcast.
All right, so let's start with what is stable diffusion. So stable diffusion is basically a text-to-image AI model developed by stability.ai, which a million of users can use to generate text. I also think that Midjourney, etc., are based on this engine, which if I think a lot of people, at least our listeners, should be aware of this. So it's super cool. It's super famous. It has a big use case. And now, obviously, there's restrictions on stable diffusions because of morality based on the data that they had input, that you can only have safe for work content. That means you have nothing with sex or anything racial or, I don't know, like racist content or anything like that. I mean, and yeah, so that's the context for stable diffusion.
I think that makes sense, right? Especially if you want to show it with children, etc., right? So you need those barriers, because you want to also like show what's possible, right? Let's imagine you have a kid who's like 10, 11, something like this. And yeah, I mean, what cool project is it to build art, etc., right? With normal diffusion. And then of course you want to like have all these like non-safe for work, train the data so it's not possible. And yeah, with the other one, what is it called, Mark?
It's called
diffusion?
unstable diffusion. All right, so let's jump in then. Unstable diffusion, Lucas. So what are so basically, all right, should I give you a little background, Lucas, or do you want to?
Please.
All right, so I think 2 years ago, when stable diffusion became an open source code, there was a few guys, girls, whatever, they started a company called unstable.ai, where they basically used the source code and now gave this model more data of naked people. So they basically fed, I don't know, hundreds and thousands of naked people also into the algorithm, and made it so that everything is possible. So you can type in whatever you want, you can find it. I mean, we did our research,
All right.
and boy, oh boy, is this Discord wild.
So we can definitely not share our screen, but guys, if you want to join or want to see it, just go on unstability.ai. And to be honest, it's wild. Like the Discord. I mean, I've seen things there. Like I'm like, I'm not sure.
Lucas, let's read out some of the categories. That's for good measure.
For good measure, let's start, Mark. So we have here furry. Okay, let's open that one.
Oh
Jesus,
starting strong already. I'm going with like women only, so basically just some nudes of some girls. Right. Lucas already went furry, bro. So what is a furry, Lucas?
So, like, think of Anubis. So like a Greek not Greek, sorry, Egyptian god. And yeah, just having a six-pack and.
Okay. So all right, Lucas explained this horrible. So basically, a furry is a sexualized mix between humans and kind of animals. Okay, so there would be like human bodies with like animal hats or animal features. So that's a furry, and then overly sexualized.
Yes, oh my.
There's a skunk that has like a pussy and tits. She looks like basically out of one of the Disney cartoons, just sexualized. Oh my god,
it is pretty.
And Lucas, let's go down the list. There's also softcore. What else do we got?
No, I mean, we got 3D, we got mature. I mean, we got like photorealistic. I mean, even you have animations. So photorealistic really looks like a normal image. So like you look at them and you could think that would have been a model, right? So yeah, it's really, really crazy.
So let's talk about animations, and I think why is this such a big topic? And so basically, these are uploaded here. They're like GIFs. I'm guessing there's like, I don't know, I'm guessing like 20 to 30 images, and they're a little bit like 5 seconds long. So they're rendered, and
Yeah.
basically what is animations? It's a kind of form of a video content. So Lucas, where are we going with this?
It's interesting to see, right? Because for example, you see in the comments and you see, hey, I rented this like a 2 second clip. It took me like 2 hours, etc. So right now, as you can see, it takes a long time to generate it. But let's see right now where this gonna take the entire porn industry, right? Because I think that's really, really interesting to see. Because right now you see, yes, like porn industry is like huge, and of course, right now it's all human beings, right? Who go in there, OnlyFans as well. I mean, in OnlyFans, you can already see like some of these. They are like AI OnlyFans accounts where all the images are generated directly from AI, right? Because also you have to think about what would one of these porn stars, let's imagine like in 20 years future, and all the children have seen like basically their mom or dad is just like on the internet. So there's of course at the beginning it's might be cool for them, but later on it's horrible. So what will the future of AI porn, right? So imagine in the future, because I mean there's so many categories already out there, right? I think thousands of them. And then you can just personalize it just for your taste, right? So it could be anything. So that way, in the future, you if you have a I don't know, you just have
Weird
some
kink, weird fetish. You might be like, hey, you
exactly.
know what I'm into? I don't know, could be I'm watching this specific show. I want to see. So because of this is open source, that means you can give it whatever source you want. You can also do deep fakes, which makes it much more personalized, which it's dangerous in itself. We're going to talk about this later. But it gives the opportunity to create content, not even let's say sexual, but also non-sexual content,
Yeah.
whatever you want, which is in one sense super cool because you can also think about it, you can create movies fully animated like that. Not
It is
only porn. It's
it is
insane.
crazy. But Mark, we're sticking here with porn. We can talk
All
about
right, all right.
other.
My bad,
We
my
can
bad.
we can stick that to another episode. But just imagine, right? So in the future, you can just like, hey, I want this, and it generates it all for you. So like, this will like for might be a problem for like how porn industry is seen right now. Because I mean, you see it right now on OnlyFans, and this is just right now after like a year or something like this. Imagine in a year or two when also processing it takes less processing, etc. That is crazy. I'm sure like we will see this feature in like 2 years on porn sites that like you can just like type in something and get something generated or for subscription, etc.
So the one thing that Lucas already mentioned is that it's super costly. And he
Yeah.
said processing time, but at the end of the day, it's about money. And another thing about this is because it has no limitations, it's really hard to raise money for it. That means traditional VCs, for those people who don't know it, venture capitalists, they have restrictions or mandates on what they can invest and what they cannot invest in. And anything that is porn related, they cannot do that because it's morally not okay. So they cannot invest in that. So obviously that might slow it down unless there's companies that crowdsource this kind of do like kind of thing and have subscription, kind of like Midjourney, but the open source and you can do whatever you want.
I mean, that's why you have, for example, MindGeek. So MindGeek is a basically you're probably wondering who is MindGeek, right? It's like what do they own? So basically, the majority owner of Pornhub and I think a lot of other owner of which ones. So I
So they're
think
Brazers,
yeah,
RedTube, YouPorn, XTube, Digital Playground, Men.com, Mofos, you name it.
basically they own like 80% of all porn websites, the big ones. So that's really, really crazy. And you've never heard about them. I think they're even Canadian. Super, super interesting. And I'm sure that in the future, once a AI company will offer this, they will buy it. So I think there's a great opportunity to go in that direction because they will buy it. Because especially the problem is right now, as Mark mentioned, the porn industry, if you work in that field or like for example you're developing in it, it's really hard to get funding from like
Bro.
investors. But if you go like for these like privately held companies, MindGeek, etc., that's a great exit strategy.
Okay, Lucas, who's bigger, OnlyFans or MindGeek? Was ILO, like YouPorn, Pornhub, etc. Who's making more? Who made more revenue last year?
I'm assuming MindGeek with Pornhub, etc.
Bro,
No,
no. MindGeek made 400, well, 2021, 460 million versus Pornhub, sorry, with the OnlyFans, more than a billion.
what?
Yeah, that's insane.
Wow.
So I want only, well, I don't know, but the cut is in OnlyFans, I guess 30%, right? So might be different, but still crazy. But think about this way, that it's a subscription model, right? It's directly to consumer versus on Pornhub and all that stuff. You have it all in ad based. CPMs are pretty low.
Also, the costs are lower, right? So if you consider,
Yes.
whereas
Yes.
on all the porn websites, you have like video,
But that doesn't
content,
impact
which is-
revenue. That's
no,
just
not revenue, but profitability, right? In the end, because that's also a huge impact on like being able to expand more, etc. I mean, I think that's really, really important as well, because OnlyFans, like, what is it? Chatting, you have the images, some videos, so it's not as much compared to like porn.
And I think they don't have that much content anyways. Like
Yeah.
the individual contributors on OnlyFans are much less number wise. Content libraries are smaller.
That is crazy. So, Mark,
So-
where do you see the opportunities?
All right. So one of the opportunities in general, well, in what sense? I want to go about risk in general, about society first, right? So
All right.
first of all, I
Let's
mean,
talk
we
about
mentioned
risk.
this in general already before, that AI can be very dangerous in terms of, hey, well, deepfakes. Now with this stable diffusion or stable diffusion, you can put, I don't know, my hat on someone else's body, or even animate me, the whole character, even voice now, voice emulators, and create whole scenes that has obviously impacts on people that hold higher positions, public positions. I've already read about teachers that got fired because kids
Crazy.
used a deep fake to create porn of her.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then she got fired because people found out. Obviously, it wasn't real, but still doesn't matter. Damage is done. So this kind of situations will become more and more popular.
I mean, we also talked about in the other podcast, like for example, with Mr. Beast, his
Mhm.
free giveaway, right? So a free giveaway, free iPhone giveaway, that was what published in on Twitter, which actually it wasn't him. So basically, they just generated video of him as well as just with the voice clone. And yeah, so this is a really big problem. I mean, there are companies trying to solve it. So basically, what they do, or one of the options that is out there is basically for the owners of, but the voice owners, for example, Mr. Beast, would, for example, go license it to a company, and that is on blockchain. You can basically verify whether this video has the license. If not, it's a fake. So basically, what needs to be created on social media is basically whenever there's a star on it, it needs to be verified whether this is actually the true voice. It needs to have like a token of it. To
Fair enough.
verify it.
Fair enough. The question is though, that doesn't help in other cases, right? Like the teacher case that I explained to you,
No.
like the image damage that you have done, like that is done at that point. Like it doesn't matter if it's just for 10, 20 minutes, it's already online. And this is
Yeah.
the biggest YouTuber that ever existed that you just mentioned. But like I said, on a smaller scale, this could be used to blackmail people, extort them, any kind of sort of thing, do them, like make them do what you want to do them. I don't know, imagine, nowadays now that priests don't hold like a higher position anymore, but priests or whatever it is, you can create something. You can, I don't know, create fake videos of people doing bad stuff, stealing stuff, or even worse things. So this kind of thing is crazy, and I think this technology will be more and
that's gonna
more
be-
controlled, but it's hard to control because if one country doesn't control it, like is even just one allows it, then it doesn't matter.
But that's
when you
about
control someone
platforms,
else.
right? So you
Yeah.
have to be controlling it over platforms. May it be that you give on a platform a token or copy of your voice, whatever. And if it's not from this account verified, then it can't be uploaded, right? So that's like a verification cost that you have to create, or like a but this is something that we will see in the future. And coming back now to porn, Mark, is also about unstable diffusion.
Yeah.
The question is it good or is it bad? So at the one side, I see it might be good because in the end, it everybody, well, there will be less people. So basically, the long term effects for people who like go into the porn industry, for their kids or whatever, if they want to have kids or change their life, right? That's one thing, which is I think very positive. At the same time, the negative that I feel like it might be so personalized that people like will less. I mean, you can see the trend right now. People having like less sex, right? That people are like don't have relationships anymore, or like they can't find like boyfriends, girlfriends, etc. Because then they're like, hey man, I can just get a satisfaction just like watching porn, masturbating, etc. So I've seen like there's a clear trend in that one. So especially if you now make it personalized, there's even less need to it. So I think that's a positive and as well the negative. But yeah, what is your opinion on it?
Well, I see it the same. I don't want to end it on a negative note, though. I think it's also super cool because this will also enable older people to have companions or relive special moments with their dead companion, etc. So I think it's super cool. There will be use cases that are super interesting. Obviously, you have to be careful in kind of scenarios, but in general, super cool. I think we're not gonna fall into the hey, I only have my AI girlfriend, because at the end of the day, unless you have robots to deal with that as well, we still need the human touch. But cool, super cool and super funny. Honestly, the Discord is hilarious.
Wow, the Discord is just super crazy. By the way, Mark, now talking about this, have you seen the interview of Mark Zuckerberg as well as Lex Fridman?
No, is it a real one or is it AI?
So exactly, it's very related with it. It's not AI in this case. Well, they basically scan the entire body. It's like they're creating like a completely model of your body, and then if you watch the interview,
following is a conversation with Mark. The following is a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg inside the metaverse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in
if
physical
you see
space,
that, it is just his
but
avatar,
it feels
right?
like we're in the same room
Fucking crazy.
because we appear to
Looks
each
cool.
other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio.
Super
This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the have intimate one-on-one conversations with anyone. That might, like, in a way we might not
So
even
imagine you can just generate a like literally just an image, right? So right now you need to scan. It's like a codec. Well, it's a codec file, which is just. Anyways, basically, it's very very cool because it gives you the possibility to interact with people on next. Like basically, he's just like going so close to the camera. Well, he thinks they're like thousands of miles apart, but they have their latest like
Quest 3.
Yeah, Quest 3 on, and it's just like feels super realistic in the scan.
It's
You
VR
can
glasses,
see
by the way.
yeah, VR glasses. They have like you can see the freckles, etc., like all the imperfections, and like it really looks like they have an interview, but it's just in a black background. And now think back a year ago when Facebook announced the metaverse, right? It was the fucking creepy or shitty avatar of like Mark Zuckerberg in front of the Eiffel Tower, super small, like nothing important. And people like stock tanking, but never bet against Zuck, right? The man itself. Now it's been only a year past since then. And yeah, it's already super realistic. It's for podcasts. They even say in the podcast, it's like it feels like you're in person because it's different if you're talking via camera or in person and you see all the micro micro expressions of the face of somebody. So it's like super
cool. Yeah.
It looks very, very realistic. The only problem right now is it's still a very complex process. But think in the future, you just like take your phone and just like scan your face, do it for a few minutes, and then you can just have a conversation super realistic. And of course in 3D. You have to consider because like right now or you watch a video and might not come across like this, but it feels like you're having directly in front of you, which is super interesting. And now imagine this for work, right? So we know Facebook right now as you on Instagram, you text with them on Instagram, or WhatsApp, use the product there. Or back in the day of Facebook, you wrote happy birthday on their like birthday on their pin of their wall, right? But now with this, imagine for business, right? So who knows? I mean, Zoom, yes, everybody uses Zoom now, but imagine in 3-4 years when everybody can scan their face, you can just meet like this and have like in-person experience. And like Facebook will be a big competitor then. Because like imagine then our kids will be like, Facebook? I mean, the thing that I use for work, right? Because it's completely different experience. So yeah, I thought I would just wanted to put that in there because I saw the interview and I was just like, that's just mind-blowing for me.
That is super interesting. I did not see that interview. I'll definitely have to check it out later. That is cool. Well, never bet against Zuck, 100%.
Team Zuck, baby.
That's true, bro. All right, So summarize, we got the AI porn going. We had Mark Zuckerberg talking about AI in general. What is the maybe work in the future? How is the Quest 3 impacting the metaverse? And in general, positive outlook. It's looking good in the AI world. AI is going hard.
Excited for it to see. All right, Mark.
That's the pod.
That's the pod.
Peace.